For this, we're going to use kind of a colorizing effect. We're going to use Photoshop Fix. And looking at this artist, this is Kim Anderson. Kim would take these vintage looking photographs of children dressed like adults and then spot color, where he was only adding color to small parts of the image, not necessarily the whole thing. So I'm going to show you how to do that here in Photoshop Fix. You have other options. You could paint where it's, instead of it being translucent, it's more opaque and it looks like you applied the paint in a full-on like impasto thick sort of manner. So you can play and experiment with either one that you want. But the point is that you're colorizing part of the image, not the whole thing. So here we go. Let's get started. Spot color. So if I wanted to maybe leave myself in color and then turn everything else in the image black and white, I'm going to show you how to do that. So we do this with the paint tool, and you want your mode here in blend, because if it's not in blend and you start painting, what you're going to see is the paint comes out opaque and you can't see through it. If that's the look you're going for, then that's fine and it works. But I'm not going to choose that. I'm going to choose to paint with the blended mode. Now, if I want to turn something black and white, the best trick is to use black paint. So for the color, you would just choose black. For the opacity here, I'm going to leave the opacity all the way up to 100 because I have the blend mode on. And I can have my brush be either hard edges or fuzzy edges. To begin with, I'm going to use fuzzy edges so everything blends. And the size could be anything I want. So my intention here, I think I'm going to leave the square of me in color and then everything else black and white. So here's how this would look. Yeah, that looks cool. It looks kind of creepy. Okay, look, zoom in, and I made a mistake because I went in the color area. So I'm going to choose Restore, get my brush, make the hardness all the way up because this is a hard edge, and clean that up right there. But use a hard edge brush for that because it definitely has that hard edge here. Okay, when I go back to coloring, I will use my soft brush. Oops. Go back to paint, and then I paint. Okay? So again, this is if I want to, whatever I paint with the color black, that kind of turns the image black and white. Okay? And at this point now, you are just sitting here watching me paint, and it's kind of like we're at school, which is kind of fun. I wish we were at school because I miss you. Okay, so that's kind of cool. So you could see what that's looking like if I were to do that black and white. Ooh, I like this. It's very eerie. I love it. All right, but now let's try something different. Let's say that, all right, so let me just finish this black and white. Okay, cool. Let's say I want to change the color of the sky, and I don't want it to be blue. Well, I'm going to go to color, choose a different color. Maybe I want a green sky. And then I'm going to go ahead and paint in there. So you get the gist of this. If you want the color that you're adding to not be so harsh, then you could always lower the opacity. So I'm going to start making myself green. That's lovely. But you can see a difference there, right, between that because it's softer. So it depends what the effect is you want to go with. I'm going to restore this, and I'm going to make it super, super soft. Just play with the opacity, and you could start to have really cool effects with this. So you're just painting. Just try and colorize it and see what you could do. So this is spot color and painting.